I am enamored by technology. I love technology. But being technology first is not how the world is moving. I remember those days when I would go to an event and I would come back and my management would ask me, okay, so we paid for you to go to this event. What did you learn? I'd be like, oh my God, there's a new graph database. And people would be like, what? It's like, who cares? And that's the era we are in. Business is driving AI, not IT. IT is actually responding. They're reacting to it because they're on the hook to deliver. Businesses want it. So it's all about outcomes these days. We will talk more about this because even the pricing of products is now changing. How we price not per seat or per compute unit. So, but we'll talk more about it. The second thing that is happening is so the transition that's happening is that everything we built up to this point has been for human users. And what's happening, where we are going, it's not humans, it's the agents that are consuming, and we are the ones who are benefiting from it. But it's like when Google came out with search engine. Before that, Alta Vista, Lycos, you remember Excite, that era, right? Yahoo kicked it off. So we were so excited when Google came out. We were like, wow, I can so fast ask a question and it shows me all the links. But did I ask for links? No, but we took it for granted. Till AI came, and then AI said, well, who cares about the links? You have a question, you want the answer. So then all of a sudden, Google went from being the coolest technology to being like method to the means. It's like, who cares about links? And then chatbots and all became the de facto standard. Now we're even moving away from that. Now we are like, wait, I asked you a question because I have to perform a task. Why are you giving me an answer? Why don't you just perform it on my behalf? So you see how quickly our mindset just resets. So now if agents are going to do the work, then agents don't need data only. They need context. They need to understand what is my intent, and then and we'll, by the way, walk through what exactly an agent is because there's so much confusion. Every event I go to, every slide starts with agents, ends with agents, and then they misdefine agents. So we will demystify agents. But you can see semantics, ontology, knowledge graphs, all of these topics that we have grappled with for decades now are certainly very exciting topics. So the idea is that as the stack is being reformed, we are no longer wanting to make copies of data and say that George is the data engineer, here you go, and then Julie is a data scientist and she gets her stack, and then somebody gets business analysts have their own stack. We see there's a massive convergence happening of use cases, roles, all based on the same stack. And then finally, if everything is collapsing and into one, the main beneficiaries today, actually, there's a crisis in Silicon Valley with small software companies. They're finding it harder and harder to survive because the integrated stacks from hyperscalers and mega vendors are starting to build everything. Just this week, on Tuesday, I woke up in the morning, I see my phone, SAP is buying Dremio. I'm like, wait, SAP was a very specific HR, ERP, that kind of stuff. Why are you buying Dremio? It's like, so when all these mega vendors are buying all these companies, so they all have started to look exactly the same. So then the question begs, well, who wins in this? And that is the user experience. So how easy is it for me to get my work done? So user experience becomes really the defining factor in this. What easy gets adopted? In fact, I've seen this all my life. HTML came out and World Wide Web was instantly adopted. But before HTML, which is a markup language, there were markup languages on Unix. There was SGML and LaTeX and all of these things. They were not going anywhere because they were too complicated. So simplicity, conversational agent, so that's what user experience makes a big difference.